Hey everybody, Minus here from Pantheon Plus, and at my side, as always, my backbone, my centering, my chi.
Oh, ooh,
Yeah,
nice play there.
and you're a
See what you
monk.
did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
see.
yeah, yeah.
Hayah over there. Hayah, how you doing?
Good, good. You doing all right?
I'm doing all right. Doing all
Yeah,
right. Played a little Secret World today.
yeah. I never played that.
Yeah, it's still just as cool as when I played it. So that's neat. But yeah, other than that, not a whole lot going on. Work and that's it. So over and over.
Work.
Yeah, got the grind. You got to go with the grind. So
Yeah.
what I thought we'd do tonight, we had a plan. We'll give everyone a heads up that in the future here, we're probably going to be doing some race videos, and they're probably not going to be very long. They'll be probably 10 to 15-minute little one shots about the races, how we feel about them. Then we may do like an overall ranking of what we'd play, and we'll kind of talk about the classes that they can play briefly. So that's going to be coming up, and we were going to start that tonight. But we just hit 6 months of Pantheon Plus. It's pretty interesting. So I thought that we would.
We're OG now, right? Is that the cutoff?
I don't know. Like it's funny because when you look at the group, right? Like we're in the middle. Some of the people are
Yeah.
way newer than us, and then you have Basgrim and Nathan throwing us off, who've been doing it for a long time. And Voices of
hmm
Terminus, geez, what are they, like 3 years? Over 3 years now. So 6 months is in our group, it's not that great, but for us, it's
I
fantastic.
mean, for us on a smaller scale, it's an
Yeah.
accomplishment.
So what we wanted to do is really kind of talk about, how we got here. We're going to highlight some different things, ask each other some questions, and kind of just, this is going to be a real like chill, me and Hayah kind of just talking live about Pantheon Plus and maybe where we go from here. So, for everyone who doesn't know, our first video, I guess I'm kind of jumping ahead here, but our first video came out November 14th, and that was our cleric video. And do you remember that video was 50 minutes?
Yeah, we talked and talked and talked, and then we did some more talking.
Yeah, it was me, you, and Shao.
Yeah.
And keep in mind when we started doing this, we had no experience. That was your first video ever, right? Like
Yep.
ever,
It
yeah.
was.
And man, the audio is so bad. I keep looking back at those videos, and I want
Yeah.
to remaster them. And I think if I take them into Premiere, I can get the volumes all correct. But I don't think I'd have to re-upload them as like a remastered. So I don't know what I want to do with that. But I think it would be worthwhile because I have gone back today and the last couple of days doing research about doing this. I've listened to some of them. I'm just like, oh my god.
I could do that better.
Well, I think one of the comments we got in it was our first 4 videos that really struggled, and there were different things that struggled. Sometimes they couldn't hear you. Sometimes I
hmm
was too loud. Sometimes you could hear my fan. It was a nightmare. But one of the comments was like, my ears are bleeding.
Yeah. I remember your fan used to blind people, right? That was
Yeah,
what it
because
was
my
too.
camera was up too much, so like people would be watching the video and just like catch that. Yeah. So there was a lot to work out. So I don't want to get into it too much, but before we put that video out, we had a couple of videos. So the channel of Pantheon Plus was sort of around longer than it was Pantheon Plus. It was WoW Plus, and we sort of came up with this
Wow.
idea.
Plus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. It's the black scar on us. So we had this idea of like we were this guild that helped people, right? Like we had people who were afraid to raid that eventually left us to join mythic guilds. So we were really good teachers, I felt like, when it came to raiding and helping people understand add-ons specifically and how to use them. So the first thing we did with WoW Plus was we wanted to get anybody in the guild who was into it to like help make guides to help people of that level learn. But also we were doing the first videos I made, which we have a couple up still in our Plus section.
KUI.
KUI nameplates, yep.
Yeah.
And we made some add-on videos. I loved add-ons. Me and you would text each other or message each other in Discord or in WoW like, hey, I found this new add-on.
Yeah.
Right? You found KUI actually,
Yes, I did.
because I
I
was
loved
using what was that, tidy plates?
Tidy. Yeah.
And you hated it. Like I can't.
I didn't hate it, but they could have done better.
Yeah. So you showed KUI, and so we just said, the amount of times that we had to sit with guildies and teach them how to use these certain add-ons. Like, why don't we just make a video? So that's kind of what we started with. And WoW's obviously super saturated. We didn't know what we were doing. We didn't have any equipment at the time, really. So we just put a couple videos out that were really just to help the guild. But that KUI nameplates video, I think, is over like 28,000 views. I didn't know what I was doing. I think I
Over
used
9,000. Yeah.
and I think I just used like a screen cap device. Like it was rough. Like it was pretty rough.
Yeah.
I don't even think I used OBS for that.
But you do what you got to do when you're starting off.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
then I think we had decided in, I think it was in November, middle of November, that we were going to leave WoW. And I still to this day, I've said it in interviews, that was tough. Like what was that like for you?
It was a struggle. We had this decent thing going on. It was winding down, as most things in BFA were. It was rough, but it was the right thing to do because we were just stretching it, and the people who were still keen were just showing up because we were like, you got to show up. And
Yeah.
you know.
And what's interesting too is, we talked a lot when we were doing WoW Plus about how the community was making the game worse than it was, right? So the community hating on it, and we were trying to fight that stigma of this isn't that bad. And then I think the one day where we really decided
It was a breaking point where we're like,
it is this, yeah, it isn't good. Like I didn't have fun logging in, and it was a lot of things about Legion that people complained about that were missing that were huge, like legendaries. I mean,
it took away the carrot at the end of the stick.
Yeah, and there was no reason to do anything. And I had excelled pretty quickly to getting geared, so gear wasn't important to me. It was, there were some cool things. We downed our first mythic boss, which was neat.
Yeah,
that was fun. But you're right, the ship was sinking, and then I don't know I found it, right? I found Pantheon, I think, and I said, hey, look at this. I think because I was just searching, like, how when you're really bored, you go to a search engine, you just type in "I am bored."
Games like, oh, okay, you do that.
All right. I've done that. Or like, for this, I was like, MMOs coming out. What's next? Is there anything? And that's where we kind of stumbled upon Pantheon. I think I sent you a link. I'm like, this game's like EverQuest. Brad McQuaid's making it, and that was kind of the start of everything. And we talked to Poi, who you guys probably never see on camera, but he's our back end guy, and he's like, yeah, man, let's go. And that was it. We told the guild. We had a conversation with who we were going to hand the guild over to, one of our good friends, Seth, and we said, hey, will you take it over? And he's like, I guess. And that raid night, they're like, okay, well, here's what's going on. And I think that having the conversation was the last reason for me to stay. And I think that night we didn't even raid. Like, we told everybody we were leaving, and then that was it.
Yeah, no, we logged out.
Yeah. And I probably would have done that a little different and given people a little more advanced notice, but it was time that a lot more than anyone else how much stress I was undergoing towards that point. And I mean, it was causing me and you to fight. It was like the behind the scenes stress was unreal for what we were experiencing there. And it was a great guild and the great people. And it was the only way we could really break apart and move on, I guess.
Yep.
So
just have to walk away.
So then, we started with healers. Me and you both had a lot of healing experience. It's the first classes we played together in WoW were 2 healers.
That's true.
And I will never forget Il'gynoth as 2 healers.
Yeah, it was brutal.
Oh, there was some stories there. That's great. But so we made this cleric video. Like I said, we the first idea was, okay, if we're gonna make content, let's just cover all the classes. We've played so many MMOs, we've had so much experience, like we can easily look at abilities and kind of understand a class, and that was pretty fun. I have to admit, like going through them, I know there was a lot of people like, you guys are just reading abilities, but I think we added a lot of substance to like how we envisioned the class and how it would play, and I thought that was a good time. So,
well, it was the idea that we would take whatever material was available to us, go through it, and bullshit. That was the idea, right?
And that's kind of still where we if someone says like, what's the whole purpose? Yeah. It's how many times have we said it's 2 buddies hanging out on a couch, having a few beers, bullshit. Like that's PantheonPlus. And when it comes to our content, maybe not the website, but that's what our content's all about. Right. Yeah. It's not, we're not here trying to be like, well, we are elite streamers, and there's enough of that out there. We don't need to be that. We could be something different. So the next milestone for us was our Enchanter video. Now it's funny because the Enchanter video was also the first one that had some production. We also, well, not production. I lie. It had the sound problems were all fixed.
Yeah, we fixed the audio.
Yeah, so it was the first one you could watch without suffering.
Got your ears bleeding, yeah?
Yeah, and we also one of the hot takes we had in that video was that we said, sure, everyone loves enchanters right now, but when the core group and all the extras come in this game launches, everyone's going to make one, but we think a lot of people are going to quickly change out of it.
Boy, what a fire did we set there.
Yeah, people were so mad. Well, and it's funny because when you're this early on, you're talking about things with people who are early adopters and super hardcore, and the hardcore will play enchanters. I don't think the casuals will. So I'm going to reiterate that I think that our point was
He's doubling down, folks. It's happening.
So, I mean, do you agree, or do you think now that you've seen the player base that maybe that's not the case?
No, I still think it's going to be one of those things that if to do it right, it's going to have to be hard.
There's going to be a few issues now that we know a lot more about the game and we're a lot more researched, that it's not just the fact that it's going to be very group reliant. I know you can charm, we'll get into all that. Mm-hmm. But the other thing too is if it's group related and a lot of people are in guilds and have groups, a lot of people want to play it, and there's really only room for one enchanter, in my opinion. Now, it looks like you can play any groups you want, but let's be honest, I don't think there's going to be two people like, oh, let's both be enchanters and I'll mez one and then you can mez one. There's going to be a power battle there. Right?
The redundancy.
So that was our first video to get over 1K views, which was pretty cool. That was in January 17th. So about a month after our first video, we had done all the healers and then we did the wrap up video. And I really enjoyed the wrap up video. That's the one I probably want to remaster the most because that was the first time we kind of sat down and compared classes. And that's when I also became hated amongst the druids.
Yeah.
Because I blasted them, which I would recover later by putting somebody below them. But
and then you just piss those people off. So.
Yeah. So then, the funny thing was the next big moment for us was in February. So that's kind of interesting. We started in December. I think the only week we haven't put a video out was Christmas week, if I'm not mistaken. So that was the only time we took a break. So in to this day, it's the only time we haven't. And we started really hyping up that PantheonPlus was coming, and nobody knew what it was except for Basgrim, Janice, believe it or not, of Discord. If anybody knows Janice, he's on there probably right now talking. Love the guy. He's got that memory thing where he remembers everything, and it's really weird talking to him. Yeah, he's a good dude though. But so I actually fired at him and said, hey, we're making this, what do you think? And I remember saying to you, here's what's gonna suck about PantheonPlus. We're gonna launch this website and we're gonna have 5 videos. Hey, come to PantheonPlus, read all about everything you want to know about Pantheon. Here's 5 videos.
Everything. All of the 5 videos.
But what was really cool is probably about a month before the official launch is when we really started to get support from the community. And that's another reason we really jumped ship, was because of the community. And, Basgrim was the first person I reached out to. Nathan jumped on board. We stumbled upon Standing in Fire. Standing in Fire just happened to do a podcast one night, put it in Reddit, 10 o'clock on a Wednesday. I jumped in. I'm like, these guys are funny. I reached out to, and they mentioned us. So that was very weird to me. That was a very weird moment that somebody is watching our videos.
You chanced your way into a stream, and then they're talking about what you're doing.
About PantheonPlus. Yeah. Talking about you, talking about me. So it was a really awesome gateway that on that first episode, when it was over, I had Militus reach out to me and they jumped right in. They were all about it. And, that's sort of how we built our entire team. Battle Axe also jumped right in. So, everything we do at PantheonPlus, while me and you run the site and do the content that's labeled PantheonPlus, the reality of it is that without
much more.
Yeah, without that core group and the community that makes it possible, it has allowed us to bring more people in. There is no PantheonPlus. So it was really cool. We launched with about 40 videos, and I think we're near or over 200, which is kind of crazy. So 200 pieces. So we launched the website. We did a premiere. This is the first video where I had an editing software, if you remember that, because I slaved over this thing forever. And it wasn't edited well. I literally had never used Premiere for a week before recording it. and just was watching videos on how do I cut this, and watching a video. Okay, do it. So that came out, and we had really good reception. We had, I think after the video was done, the amount of views were somewhere around 200. We never had that many people in the channel at once. It hovered around 35 to 30, but that was awesome. I mean, that's bigger than anything we've done yet. And it was probably because we really overhyped it. I overhyped it.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I was blasted on Twitter. Hey, something's coming. I sent it to Brad. I'm like, hey, this is coming. So it's, I probably overhyped it more than what it was worth, but we got a really good reception and it was pretty fun. So, and that one is still one of our highest viewed videos. And that one was our fastest to 1K. We got real fast into 1,000 there. And I think it's over 2 now. So it's probably our biggest Pantheon video, if you want to call it that, was the launch of our website, which is pretty cool. And man, has it changed. I want to, while we're talking about this, I'm probably going to have some video up that you guys will be seeing, or pictures as we're talking. And the difference between what it looks like now and looks like then is crazy. It was so bad. It's like,
come a long way.
It was so embarrassing. So after that, we did in February, so February 7th, we launched our first collaborative video. And this was a video that
I didn't make it.
Yeah, and so we had it all scheduled, and I was really like, I don't want to miss a week. This wasn't like a replace Hayah moment. Stuff came up, and I was like, oh, we just launched the website not too long ago, and I don't want to miss a week. So I literally went into our Discord, which furthermore, this talks about community and how much it matters for us, is I went into our Discord with the content creators. That's all our Discord is. We don't have anybody but content creators that work with us in there, and a couple people who have contributed. That's it. It's very quiet. We just kind of be able to bounce ideas off each other. But I'm just like, hey, is anyone able to film a video tonight in replacement of Hayah? And Militus is like, I think I can. Let me talk to my wife. And next thing you know, he just jumps right in, and we've never worked together. We've barely talked. And it was a really fun video. It was another 50-minute.
That was the Warrior, I think, right?
Yeah. And it was funny because you were like, oh, you're going to love Warrior. And then you didn't. You're like, oh, what'd you think about it?
I couldn't make it.
Yeah. So, and then, of course, I made fun of us because you have two people who like to talk a massive amount, in me and Militus, and get real.
You guys spent like 12 minutes on the mice you use for gaming and like.
Yeah. And that's what's funny about that is like, that's exactly where I was going with that statement. Is I was like, you guys didn't even talk about Pantheon for a while. You just started talking about how you play.
The Tartarus and the this and the
But it was super fun. And I got to be honest, I really miss doing content with Militus. Really need to do more. Again, we're two guys that can dissect the stupidest thing for 10 minutes, and it's easy. So that was a lot of fun. But it kind of came out of necessity, but it was also our first collaborative video, which in itself is kind of funny if you think about it, that it was literally last minute. So then we started to try to stream, and I did skip the fact that before we did our first Pantheon video, we did do a couple of EverQuest streams. If you remember
That's
that.
right. Yeah, they weren't
missed more.
Official in any capacity. We just threw on a stream and then went and did
played.
Stuff with you and Shal, right? That was about it.
Yeah. We went to like Castle Mistmore.
Yeah.
And Unrest, I think. It was pretty fun. So after we did our collaborative, we did a couple of Vanguard streams. And I was thinking about this the other day. I'm really upset that we didn't keep doing Vanguard. And I know that
the game.
Yeah, and it wasn't complete, right? We knew that we were playing an emulation server. There was a lot missing. But his name was Zinix, I think was his name. Was just awesome. It was so accommodating to us, and he's still in our Discord to this day. And the guy was literally coding spells on a live stream to make it work for Militus. And it was just another way that we collaborated. I mean, that's back when Fragile was part of the team. Me, you, Militus, Fragile. Was that it?
We had a bunch of us.
Yeah, there's a few different people.
We weren't always all on at the same time, but
yeah, a lot of fun. And you know what was cool about that game is even though all the content wasn't necessarily there, we got to get a feel for like a giant world. The world was really impressive.
It was the dungeon crawl that stuck out to me because that's all we did at first, right? Was hey, look at this cave, let's go, and then it never ended. Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and like I said, I almost actually fired that back up today as I was kind of going through these different things. So move ahead a little bit to the week after, or the week of that. So the same week that we played some Vanguard streams, we did a collaboration on our wrap up for tanks
with
was
Battle
that was
Axe.
a lot of fun.
That was super fun.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, some of the collaboration stuff we've done is, I mean, actually, no, the collaboration stuff that we've done with others has been some of the most enjoyable. It's just
Hmm.
the personalities, right? Like when we talk about the fact again that we want to be two guys sitting on a couch BSing, four guys on a couch BS, it's even better.
Hmm.
So that was really cool. A lot of fun. We got into a lot of back and forth there, and it was just a really good time. And that's the first time we really got to talk to those guys on a more personal level. But we did it right on the air, so to speak. So it was pretty cool.
Trial by fire.
Yeah, and I think that after that is really when formatting wise and discussion wise, we really started to kind of get into a better swing. Like
Mm.
it felt a little bit more like we knew what we were doing, which we don't.
Yeah, we found our groove and our rhythm to how we did our class videos or whatever it may
Yeah.
be.
And we did Wizard, and that one took off. I was really surprised. In Channer, I understood because it was a different.
People like their wizards. Wizards an iconic thing, right?
Yeah, and we got a lot of good feedback for that. That was our second Pantheon video, like class video, to go to 1K. Really positive in that. You know, it had some editing again because we had started the editing back when we put the video out. So we started to see like we put out our original intro like before we had the Pantheon Plus
Oh
production
yeah.
one, where it would just like
Mhm.
flash to the music. And all that music that we were using in the early days was me taking clips of MP3s from my band and cutting pieces of it to play it because I know how crazy Facebook or YouTube is with copyrights and stuff. So I try to avoid any music. Like our EverQuest stream video got flagged because of the music in the character select screen. That's how crazy they are with this. So I was like, well, if they use mine, I can literally show them the recording disc and get out of it. So, but yeah, so that's kind of where we started. So then we continued on with the class videos for a bit there, and in March I launched interviews with Minus, and
That was a great idea. Fantastic
and
idea.
it's definitely something that I think will come back. We had pretty good turnouts for those, and it was a lot of fun. You know, it was a little shticky. Um, it was meant to be cheesy, sort of like the Weekend Update, Saturday Night Live when it was good. Kind of
When
like
it was
going,
good.
yeah, kind of going through. We had the staples of Florida Man, Meanwhile in Canada, and Boom
The Meanwhile
Tap,
in Canada, yeah.
and Boom Tap's current favorite game ever made.
Yeah.
So that was pretty fun, and we did. And to be honest with you, the thing that was most important about interviews with Minus wasn't just there was a lot to do with like OBS learning there with
Hmm.
scene transitions
Yep.
and doing it live. So it was a little different. There was a lot of learning. A lot of what we've done this far and what we've tried to do, wow, it was made to be content that we want people to watch. It's also content that pushes us to learn.
Yeah.
Um,
Content that breeds better content.
yeah, and you know, the biggest thing that I'm going to take away from interviews with Minus is we did the commercials. If you remember, we would take somebody
Yeah.
from the community and make some kind of
Canadian Combat Club.
yeah, some kind of real cheesy. Just these are things I just thought up off the top of my head most of the time, and I'm like, I
Yeah.
think I can make this work. Well, one of the biggest cogs to making these work was me and Nathan. I would tell Nathan the idea, and we all know how creative Nathan is. With his videos are insane. Like this stuff, creativity is not a problem for Nathan.
Yeah.
So we would sit and just talk through these ideas. And if you'd see some of the stuff we were thinking that we didn't do, or that was too crazy or not crazy enough. But I would tell you that through this whole process, other than Hayah, we've been friends for a long time. But other than Hayah, you know, this really bonded me with Nathan. And I'll say right on air that like Nathan's, I'm so thankful for his friendship. I love everyone in our community, but me and Nathan talk daily. We have each other's number. We text each other to joke about stuff. So this process of interviews with Minus really built a huge friendship between me and Nathan that is just it's out of control and wacky, but it's so much fun, and I love that guy to death. So the first episode was also the first time we ever did anything with Basgrim. We had
That's true,
never
yeah.
done any joint work with Basgrim to this point. So it was pretty interesting, and it was a really fun time. Really, really fun time doing that. And we'll probably bring it back. I definitely see interviews with Minus coming back. I want to do a whole new set. I want to have,
Season 2,
yeah, and I want to
bigger and
have,
better.
I want to do a new set. I want to have like different scenes. Um,
Mm.
I just have to find time to do it. So
Hmm.
it'll be back. It'll be back. So then from there, I think the next thing we did was the quickie with Minus. If you remember, I was like, dude, I have an idea for a video. And I literally just like threw it together and put it out the same day. And it was in the middle of the week, but I had read on one of the newsletters, there was a quote that they weren't designing content for solo play. It was like a pretty bold
And
statement.
then you pretty much was like, I'm about to have word diarrhea, so put the camera on.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, and that was the case. So, and Hayah, I don't know how you feel about this, but we don't do newsletter videos typically. We did one.
No.
And
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
we did one because what happened is, as a champion, there was a secret link that we were given on a forum that not many people saw, and we were able to watch it in advance, and a ton of champions, and nobody knew. Like, nobody. I don't even think Basgrim or Nathan knew, because they didn't advertise it. It was this really small thing I came across. So I'm like, dude, we can make this video ahead of time, and it's the second Kilson posts it, we can put our video out. So so that's the only time we did that. That's later, but I think we don't do news because Basgrim does a great job with it. Nathan does a great job with it. It's covered to death. If we can find one little piece that's really important that stands out to us, I think it's worth doing. But I don't know. You agree?
I do. I think we're better at focusing in on a topic.
Yeah.
And then BSing around that.
Yeah, I agree. So I would eventually like to do more quickies with Minus. So that definitely can happen in the future. Doesn't hurt to put out some videos that aren't 30 minutes plus. I know some people just want to be able to catch something small. But the other thing too is, as soon as you start putting out 10-minute videos, everyone's like, "Oh, YouTube algorithm." And if
right.
right, so
Yeah.
for me, that's funny because it's not something we even think about. So, cool. So March 28th, we finished our class videos. We did our wrap up of the DPS classes, and that was a big moment for me, because we started all this without any clue in the world, without a website, an idea for one, without any idea how to record. We said, well, we can plan out 15 weeks. Technically, we said we could plan out 12, and then we figured out the recap videos. So that was a big deal. We finished, that was our first, other than the site launch, which I guess was a big milestone. That was our first goal achieved.
Yeah, goal achieved. Yeah.
Right. So what was interesting about that is then it was like, now what? Because we really didn't prep for that. So
we outpaced ourselves. Uh-oh.
Yeah, and we had interviews with Minus, right? So it was interesting, because it was like, okay, well, do we just go forward with interviews with Minus and tie you into it? What do we do? And I think that, if I were to be honest, I think what made us go to opinion videos, other than the fact that we can talk about it forever, like we have to cut those short, was the fact that the quickies with Minus, which was a short opinion video, did really well. People seemed to like it. So that kind of pushed me in saying that's probably the direction we should go. So, but it was interesting. I mean, like, how did you feel when it was done? Like, what was your thought process? Like, okay, we did all the classes.
Like, I'm relief.
Done. What?
Relief. There was less homework.
Yeah.
I'm joking, but I don't know. I was kind of excited for what was then to come, because we had some brainstorm sessions and bullshitted about bullshitting. We got meta, and I think we went the right way.
Yeah. So the next couple days later, the next week from that, we had the first live show we ever did.
Yes.
Because I screwed up. So the only reason interviews with Minus went live is because I gave the wrong date to Def, because Def was going to film an interview with me, and we put the interviews with Minus out, and then we did premieres for those so we could watch with people. And I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't have an interview lined up. And it's funny, because I actually had, even now, there's probably 7 or 8 people that wanted to be on that I couldn't schedule correctly to get them on. And we ended up wrapping it up. But we went live, and dude, you can tell people I was a mess.
Yeah, we were in, I believe we were in a Discord call just before, like the half hour before, and you're like, I think I just messed up all my sequences. You were just going all over the stuff, and you were all over the place.
I was
Yeah.
trying to show you like this is what I'm going to do. Keep in mind, I've never done a sequence before. Never in streams have I changed
Yep.
scenes and transitioned, and I'm doing it as I'm clicking, and it was so scary. I was terrified.
And then you
Like
did it. It launched. Like you went live, and everything went like as buttery smooth as it possibly could have.
yeah, it was. I'm not kidding you. If you asked my wife, she could tell you for the couple days leading up to that. Because keep in mind, I didn't have a whole lot of time to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, crap, what are we gonna do? I'm like, let's do it live. And
We'll do it live.
yeah, the day or two leading up, I was a disaster. It was I was so nervous, dude. I was it was crazy, but yeah, like you said, it went off. It was fine, and we had a pretty good run with it. That was funny. But yeah, it was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of what we were just hitting at with the classes done. The day after that, we kind of had to really envision everything, and we went to the so we said, what opinion video do we want to do, and we went to PvP right away.
Mm-hmm.
It was a hot
It's a
topic.
big topic. The big one.
Yeah, a lot of times when we do an opinion video, there's a lot of opinion videos we could do that aren't really discussing or not being discussed in the community. So, we kind of have them on the back burner. Like we could do that later. But when we see something trending across the community, whether it's Reddit, Discord, the forums, anything like that, we'll kind of target that to be something we'll talk about. So it's prevalent. People are already talking about it. And that PvP video, I knew that if we didn't get more people for that video, it wasn't going to be successful. It would have been
Yeah, because it would have just been me and you being like, yeah, we could live without it. Yeah,
yeah.
we're done.
And
Video over.
and this is a funny thing, and I hope this doesn't come off wrong when people watch it, but a lot of people think that like I'm Mr. Positive, which I am more positive than negative by far. But a lot of people think I'm like this white knight and I'll never say anything wrong, and I'm trying to gain favor. So like I watch what I say, and I think that video proved that I'm gonna be me.
You can cut loose too.
Yeah, because I mean honestly, I knew that I was gonna have a massive crowd of Pantheon fans really against what I was saying, and I didn't hold back. You watch that video.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we got
Well,
into
that was a great video for us because it was not only to cover a topic that was divisive, that there are two very strong camps, but it was one of, if not the most fun video we've made.
Yeah.
That's the one where you took that clip where we'd all ran off to the bathroom as soon as we stopped filming, and you're just sitting there alone, like. Boop, 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 boop.
Yeah, we all drank quite a bit.
Yeah.
As we started this process and as I got more comfortable, I started drinking more, and everyone started seemingly drinking more as we all got more comfortable with each other. But yeah, so that was a good video. Nathan was fired up in that video. We like so we had to get two people that supported PvP. It was the only way that video could have been successful, and we knew that. And we told them, gloves off. Say what you guys want to say. End of this, we're gonna have a few drinks together and shake hands. Don't worry about hurting feelings, and just let loose, be yourself. And I think that's why it was a lot of fun. It was a super fun video. So we did more, and I'm not going to go into all of them. I'm not trying to cover every single thing we did, just kind of milestone moments. The next one was a big one for me, and I'll be open and honest. This was April 29th, so it was almost a month after we had done that video, and we had done some more opinion videos. But the community started to get really down on newsletters, and I really never understood it. And this is another thing that maybe got me the white knight treatment. I've never expected a whole lot out of the newsletters. I mean, where's your head at for newsletters? Like when?
No, it's a bonus thing we get every so often, and it's just a little, hey, we're still here. Here's some, words, and that's all it needs to be.
There's usually like a sentence or two that's like, oh, hey, that's kind of cool. And that's how I've always been with it. And I get that there's people who've been around for a lot longer. So there were all the class announcements, which were really big. So I said to myself, I want to look at the entire history of how they've communicated, because I don't think it's changed. And this was a huge project for me. This was the biggest moment in learning Premiere and editing together videos. We had the videos behind. There were a bunch of assets in the video, pictures, trying to figure out.
He would send me screenshots of his notes he was taking, and it was like Yeah.
It was definitely the most research intense. And like I said, it's not one of our more popular videos. I think we only have somewhere around 600 hits on it, so that it's one of our less popular videos. But what was important to me was I felt like it painted a really good picture. I hope one day that video takes off a little more so people can kind of see what the development history is like, when it started, how they kind of announce things. I think it paints a really good picture with what to expect and not to go crazy about these newsletters, and to understand that things like class reveals can't just all of a sudden be done again.
But
Yeah,
yeah.
you're not going to match class reveals. I mean, except for games coming out. Here's alpha, here's beta. That's it. And that's why people crave that info so much. Like, give me beta date, give me alpha date, because everything else has been done. The class is being announced, unless they announce
Yep.
Bard. It's hard to top that. So now we're getting little details about lore. We're getting little details about Fairthale. So just stuff like that, and that's what I expect from the newsletters, and that's what I like about them. So that was a big deal for me from a technique and learning standpoint. But I personally really like that video, even though it's not a positive one, not a super popular one, I guess. So skipping way ahead, because we just started, we kept doing interviews with Minus wrapped up, and then we did more opinion videos, and then we started up community game night. So it's kind of, we're really getting close to where we are now. The 21st of May, so a little less than a month ago, we started it up. And so I want to paint a picture of why this is important for anyone who's watched community game night. Like, we don't get a huge draw on it right now. I hope in the future, and when it's games people care more about, maybe we will. But it's super fun.
It is.
And it's, when we talk about being a content creator, and we're not pros, like, please don't, when I say, oh, content, it's not said with like we're special. It's just said with we put a lot of time into it. That's it. It's a time sink in a very, very big way. And the amount of time it takes to run the website, to do 1 or 2 videos a week, scheduling in itself, and getting us together we both have young kids. Yeah. Both of ours are sick right now. So, so it's just, the more I talk to Hayah, the more I talk to Standing in Fire, everybody in our group, Battle Axe, nobody was playing anything. So, or these content creators.
This is the big secret about community game night. It's an excuse to play some games. That's all it is.
It really is. It's that's the truth. Hayah, you nailed it. It's an excuse to get us together.
Yeah.
Get some of the people who support us, or fans of whoever's in the video, even if it's not us, to come in and chat with us a bit and joke around and have fun. And it's funny because I can't tell you the last time I've gone to bed super late at night just laughing and having a good time, probably drinking more than I should. I am not in my 20s anymore. So
yeah, the Cards Against Humanity night was rough. It was.
Yeah, it was. And also, I mean, these get a little, well, Cards Against Humanity got a lot not safe for work, but some of these get not safe for work because we're just letting loose. I constantly tell you guys that when we make a video, it's truly us. This is us. There's no characters here. You're not going to, no offense to all the great streamers that are out there cosplaying Dr. Disrespect and all that. Listen, I'm happy they found their niche. It's not me. You're never going to see me show up, and you can bookmark this, so if it ever happens, you can rub it in my face, but you're never going to see me show up as a character. I'm going to be me.
Unless it's a bit. Put that caveat on it. Unless we do a bit.
Unless it's a bit. So, you're not going to see that. If I can't just be me and have fun and make something of this and have Hayah here and our friends, then we will just stop doing it eventually. This is not just for the community and the people who watch us, but it's really fun for us. It's learning. It's supporting a game we both really want to succeed. So, but the community game night, 100% self-serving. It's a way for us to play games. Have a really good time. Because again, listen, we said it how many times? It's going back to getting on the couch and co-oping.
Yep.
That's it. So that brings us to this last week, and we put out our We Are Pantheon video. So Hayah, what'd you think of it? I mean, it was
a neat experience for me because it was my first dabble in making my own video and handing it off to you after, and it let me be a little bit creative. I had a lot of fun with it.
I got to tell you,
very still for a minute.
Well, you have to tell that story. So for anyone who watched the video, Hayah's just sitting still meditating. He had this
Yeah.
idea to record his voice over it, which
Yeah,
is
and add a
genius.
cathedral reverb to it
Yeah,
because monks, monasteries, blah blah blah.
yeah, he's
It
meditating.
it did
He's
it worked up here.
so
So I
so.
set up to do the recording. So I figure I need a little bit more video than I do the voiceover duration. So I'm gonna sit and meditate for a minute, full minute, and I have a very loud clock in here. I have my mic threshold set to just be above where the clock ticks. So I back up, I get in my seat, and I hit record with my left hand because the desk's on this side, and then my chair starts spinning. About 30 seconds in, and I'm like, well, shit, ruined it. I had to reset it up. I made it so that the arm wedged under the desk and it wouldn't do it, and then I did it
I
over
didn't know
again.
that.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
secret there.
Between my elbow and the chair arm, I was holding, yeah, movie
So
magic.
I'm gonna be open and honest with you. I don't want this to come off wrong. When you submitted me your video, I was blown away. I was
Really?
I
I set such a
didn't
low bar and I over delivered, right? Yeah. There
it's
we
not
go.
a low bar, but I just well, like you said, you've never made a video before, and you went all in. Like
Yeah.
I didn't like,
I had so much fun doing the voiceover too.
yeah, and you let loose, and I think that's the whole point of that whole video.
Yeah.
Is there was no scripting. Nobody was told what to say, how to do it. It was,
Yep.
hey, try to be around 30 seconds, and we didn't even get that. There were people at 40 seconds.
I was sitting at 33, I think. So.
Yeah. So, and we just said try to be around 30 seconds because we got to put 12 of these together, which is how we started it. We got to put 12 of these together. That's going to take time. Then we have this idea for the end.
Yep.
And, there were some people who submitted it and resubmitted it. I'm going to be honest with you. I hated my part. I did. It was a one shot. I recorded it. I put it in. I kept telling myself I was going to do it again. I just didn't have time. Like I was like the editing and
We're too busy hounding us.
yeah, hounding everybody. I'm sure there's a lot of people. If you talk to anyone in that video, be like, yeah, mine was a pain in my ass doing that. It's like, hey, you didn't give me that video. Hey guys, any updates? So I really never got a chance to go back and do mine again. I almost set it in as a placeholder, but with that way everything worked out, I was like, I'm going with it. So
good enough.
So honestly, like the part of that video I dislike the most is mine, hands down. And it's not because of the content, just I wasn't looking at the camera. You could tell I was reading it. But it was, to me, it wasn't about that. It was just about, let's get.
Why do you think I did a voiceover?
See, and that was so genius. So genius. I should have done a voiceover and just like done this, like
twirl a knife.
Like just like sneak off camera and like sneak back in.
Dart around the room, roll around.
Lights go off, lights come on.
Smoke bomb.
So super fun. I mean, I this is the last thing we're really talking about and wrapping up, and we'll do a quick outro. But so much fun. I got to meet a ton of people that we've never worked with before. So for those of you that don't know, the people who were in this video, one of the huge standouts was Thorndeep for the Summoner. Never knew. We found him. I posted on Twitter that we needed a Summoner. And he was like, I'll do it. I'm like, cool. Didn't know him. Didn't know anything about him. I was like, cool, here's what I need. He sent me a couple different versions of the video, and it was a home run. And he's somebody who's gotten a lot of shout outs. So, our Ranger video is there's a father and daughter who both stream, and they jumped on it. He's in the I am part, and they put a script together and they put it out to us. It was amazing because as we were getting to the end of this video, we had no Ranger.
We had some interesting ideas, but no Ranger.
So yeah, we were thinking of putting a tombstone on the screen that said Ranger overpulled aggro. We thought about putting a sign on the screen that said BRB getting more arrows. We thought about just leaving it out and see if anyone noticed. There was but eventually we ended up getting it. And then I think the key of the video, I love the individual videos. Nathan was out of control. I got that video while I was talking to Hayah, and I screen shared, but he couldn't hear it.
I didn't even have audio, and it cracked me right
up.
He
was because he could only see it, and that's the thing that's hilarious to me. There was a comment on Reddit about that said, Nathan's video was really good, but if he was going for like bold and noble, he really didn't nail it. I'm like,
you misread it. You misread the whole thing.
I mean, did you see the like he? And if you ever seen a Nathan Napalm video, this guy is pure humor. He lets loose. Like that's what this video is about. So And then, I mean, the superstar of the video, everybody that I talked to, Tess.
Yep.
Tess freaking nailed it. Tess was one of the last videos we got because she had this idea that she needed to rent stage time at her school. All this crazy stuff. She's like, I need to do this. And when she sent it to me, I loved it. The moment that I just died is she's like, do you want me to stab someone in the face? I'm like, oh man, it's so good. This whole video is fantastic. So she's gotten great shout outs for that. It was incredible. I wish we could have there were some people who were out of town and couldn't do some things, and some people who missed the deadline for getting the I Am Pantheon part in. But overall, it was just an amazing experience. And I think that there's a lot of people on Reddit that are complaining about cringe and all this stuff. They don't get it. They don't understand that we randomly reached out to people on Twitter, Discord, forums, and we brought a bunch of people together. We had 24 people that were featured. That doesn't include all the people I talked to for advice or showed them clips and said, what do you think? It was just a phenomenal, fun community thing that you don't get in any other MMO at all. You don't have people who are just willing to say, heck yeah, man. There's people who've never been on camera in that aspect that have did stuff for us. It was just super cool. And it's probably what's really cool is as we hit this 6-month period, it's honestly for me, again, getting back to like learning and editing and community.
Oh, you put in some work on the edit on that too. Yeah.
Yeah. That was insane. There were 65 pieces of media, not including any duplicates or cuts that would break them into pieces. It was, and all I kept thinking to myself is right before I export this, it's going to crash and I'm going to lose it. Like I can't like
do one thing and save one thing and save.
I was towards the end. And Premiere's buggy for anyone who's never used it. So there's a lot of times all of a sudden the audio just stops working. You have to like save it and get out and go back in and be like, did I break anything? So yeah, it was super fun. I would say that's been the greatest thing we've done. It's been
the highlights thus far. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was the greatest thing because it was a combination of community, learning. I'm super proud of it. I'm super proud of it. There's not anyone who's taken that away. I don't care how many people want to trash me. I'm super proud of that. I'm super proud of the people who did that with us. I am so thankful that they trusted me in putting that all together. Yeah, and I want to do more of that. I have to figure out, I'll tell you the truth. Use your brain. Don't spoil it here, but more projects where we can get that many people working together. The more we can do that, the better. I mean, we can't do it every month, but every quarter, every couple months, something to get a bunch of people together and do something like that would be phenomenal. So.
Yeah.
But so Hayah, here we are 6 months later. Did you think we'd be where we are, or do you think we're ahead of where we thought we were going to be? Like, I
think we're ahead of where I thought we'd be. I don't want to be negative, but I didn't think we'd even get here.
Yeah.
Like really. I thought we would fizzle out after doing a few videos and we'd learn from it and move on to do something else.
Yeah.
I'm happy I was mistaken.
And
very much so.
You know what's cool about it is I think at this point, even though we may have been saying this, that last video and hitting 6 months, we found a way to become part of the community. Whether it's people who hate us or people who love us, we're entrenched.
You need both.
Yeah, we need both. Yeah, and you know what?
Yeah.
You know, if I had to give any advice to anyone who content creates, and again, I'm not a pro. I mean, Carnage, guys like that are going to be able to tell you a lot more than I can. But you got to have thick skin. And if you're going to put yourself on camera, you know, all the people who would harass you, they're not on camera. They're behind an alias. Like, here's me. This is me. This is the stuff I have on my wall is actually what I have on my wall. This is my office. You know, when you put yourself out there and you're willing to be on camera and you're willing to tell a story, because it's kind of what we're doing, right? It was 6 months of story of Pantheon and us and friendships and community. It's there to be made fun of. It's there to be picked apart. It's there to be criticized. And you know what? Be proud of what you do. End of the day, be proud of what you put out there and the relationships you build. And that's why this is so worth it. That's why I can't wait for 6 more months. I can't wait to celebrate a year. So, but Hayah, thank you, man. I have been a pain in your butt for the entirety of time knowing you, starting in Blade and Soul until today, and I will be tomorrow. And
it's a mutual butt pain. Let's call it what it is.
But
wouldn't be anywhere else.
It's been awesome, and you know, I don't think people sometimes realize how important you are to me keeping stable. You're always there when I'm about to lose it, and usually center me or slap me in the face and tell me I'm an idiot. So it's been a lot of fun, guys. This video is not about patting ourselves on the back. It's really painting a picture of who we are, painting a picture of what our goal is and where our goal is going forward. Kind of taking you on the journey of what we've gone through. And, when we started this, what we said is we want to encourage more people to content create. So if you're watching this right now and you say to yourself, I kind of want to do this, reach out. It's free. I'll give you all the time. I'll create a logo for you. I'll take you through settings. We want to create more people. We want to create more people that are excited, who can experience this, who can do it. Keep in mind, you got to learn. You're going to mess up a lot like we do and you continue to do. But it is about community. That's ultimately what's most important to us. So we really do encourage you guys, if you want to do this or you want to be a part of what we do or you want to come on videos, reach out. My DMs and Twitter are open. Anyone can send me DMs. Yeah. So, hit us up. Hayah, thank you. It's been an awesome 6 months, man.
Thank you.
Yep. And so we're going to go, there's 9 races. So we're going to go through 9 races, 8 races. Why don't I know? That's how you know we're not professional. So
re-edit.
But we're going to go through the races. They'll be a little shorter while we start to kind of think about where we're going future. And we're throwing around an idea right now. I put it out on Twitter to do an EverQuest group that meets up for a month straight on our community game night and plays together. So if you're listening to this and you got this far in the video, if you want to be a part, we currently have 4 spots open. We are going to put it out to the community first. The Pantheon Plus community will have first dibs, but I have a feeling we're going to have some spots. So we're going to really open it up. We just need to find someone who's willing to show up to at least 4 of these in a row. And so we can have a group, we can play, and then figure it out from there. So I think it'd be a lot of fun. EverQuest is the closest thing to Pantheon. So I think that's why we're picking that. So that's a little bit of what's coming, everything that got us here. And I can't thank everybody enough for supporting us. And as we've said since day one, we will continue to earn every single person who follows us on Twitter, every single person who subscribes to us on YouTube, which has been super overwhelming and emotional for me with how well that's been going because of all of you. So just keep doing it. Keep giving us a shot. If you hate us, give us the feedback. See if we can earn you. If we can't, keep following us so you can make fun of us. It's fun. We'll give you something. Hey, once again, thank you. And thanks to everybody. We'll wrap it up there. We'll see you again next week.
Bye-bye now.
Pantheon.